Susan, Sarah's mother, didn't feel that the marriage would change things for her. But it's a curious thing, she was very wary.
A royal reporter has claimed that even Sarah Ferguson's own family doubted her motives when she married Prince Andrew. And behind the glittering 1986 royal wedding, whispers quietly suggested that some relatives questioned whether Fergie was truly in love or simply pursuing the crown, the privilege, and the lifestyle it promised. And it wasn't only her family. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to hear reveals the shocking truth behind the Royal Lodge scandal, secrets the palace never wanted the world to know. Let's uncover what really happened behind those locked doors. Inside palace walls, courtiers and senior aides reportedly felt uneasy, fearing that Sarah's impulsive nature, vibrant personality, and lively social life might eventually spark scandal, and history would soon prove them right. Tonight, we explore the truth behind those doubts, what her family really believed, what the palace feared, and how Sarah Ferguson's royal fairy tale unravelled into one of the most complex relationships in modern royal history.
Once the scandal broke?
As soon as I knew it was a scandal, not once it broke, Michael. But don't try and trick me now, because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit. John, can you just delete it, please, that bit? Because I don't want to go down this...
Duchess, I'm asking very fair questions of you.
No, it's too tabloidy.
A recent royal report reignited the decades-old question of whether Sarah Ferguson's marriage to Prince Andrew was built on love or strategy. According to insiders quoted by royal biographer Andrew Lowy, even members of the Ferguson family wondered if Sarah was drawn to Andrew himself or to what he represented, with one acquaintance describing her as a girl who always knew which circles to move in, and another claiming her father, Major Ronald Ferguson, felt both proud and anxious. Proud she had captured a prince, but uneasy about the exposure it would bring. For Buckingham Palace, the match was both reassuring and risky. Sarah was British, well-bred, and familiar to the family.
Queen loved you so much and you were so special to her. What did she mean to you?
Oh, she just, I think I was just myself with her. And I was allowed to be myself with her, which is such a joy.
One former employee, she possessed a warm humour that instantly endeared her to the Queen and Prince Philip. Yet she also carried a past filled with lively parties, close male friendships, and an independent streak that troubled some of the Queen's advisors, prompting one former courtier to remark, "She was great fun, but not the safest choice for a royal bride." Born in 1959 into the respectable middle tier of Britain's upper class, connected but not wealthy, Sarah grew up between boarding school and her father's estate after her mother, Susan, remarried and moved to Argentina.
Is the Duchess of York Epstein's scandal about to hit her in the pocket? Well, maybe. Let me explain why. The charities linked to Sarah Ferguson on Monday certainly moved quickly to distance themselves from her. It's after on Sunday we saw that email she'd sent to convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, which appeared to be a grovelling apology to him. She said she had to write it because she was being threatened by Jeffrey Epstein.
By her early 20s, Sarah was already a popular presence on London's social scene, described by friends as cheerful, fearless, and a little wild. She worked modest jobs in publishing and later at an art gallery, but her ambition was unmistakable. She wanted excitement, status, and a life beyond the ordinary. Her reconnection with Andrew in 1985 came at exactly the right moment. He was 25, handsome, freshly returned from naval service, and under pressure from the Queen to settle down. They had known each other as children, but when they met again at Royal Ascot, the chemistry was instant.
Queen loved you so much and you were so special to her. What did she mean to you?
Oh, she just, I think I was just myself with her. And I was allowed to be myself with her, which is such a joy.
One former employee, within a year they were engaged, though even then whispers suggested the relationship had been rushed and that Fergie knew precisely how to charm her way into royal favour. She made the Queen laugh, bonded with Prince Philip, and won over the public with her approachable spirit. Yet privately, some relatives wondered whether she was falling in love with Andrew or with the institution he embodied. On 23 July 1986, millions watched as Sarah walked down the aisle of Westminster Abbey in a 17-foot ivory train, sparkling tiara, and radiant smile in what became the last grand royal wedding of the 1980s, a moment that captivated Britain and earned her the title the People's Duchess.
That contribution to her debts by the deceased paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, as reported in the Mail, what we discover is first.
Within a year, cracks appeared early. Sarah's exuberance, once adored by the press, soon irritated the palace. She was too loud, too informal, too candid. She laughed freely, hugged often, and gave interviews that made aides uneasy. Worse, the marriage itself was strained from the start. Andrew's naval duties kept him away for months. Sarah later admitted that in their first 5 years, they spent only 40 days together annually. Loneliness grew, tabloids swarmed, and rumours of lavish spending, holidays, and whispered affairs took root, leaving palace staff who had doubted her feeling vindicated. As one aide remarked, "She loves the attention. She was never going to fit that mould."
Would you pay £12 million to someone that is accusing you of awful, awful things? I wouldn't.
By the late 1980s, royal officials were seriously concerned. Sarah's image had shifted from refreshing to problematic, with stories of excessive shopping, loud parties, and controversial friendships feeding public scrutiny. The fears voiced back in 1986 were turning into reality. The Duke of Edinburgh reportedly lost patience, and although the Queen remained personally fond of her, she struggled to defend her daughter-in-law against escalating tabloid attacks. Some inside the palace privately began labelling her unmanageable, believing that her appetite for publicity and luxury reflected poorly on the monarchy, especially during Britain's early 1990s recession. Talk of motives, once dismissed, resurfaced with new urgency as the fun Duchess began to look like a royal risk. Then came 1992, the year that shattered the monarchy's carefully maintained calm. In August, while still married, Sarah was photographed on holiday in France with her American financial advisor, John Bryan, and the infamous toe-sucking images became one of the decade's most damaging scandals. The palace was humiliated, Prince Philip furious, and Fergie was swiftly pushed out of royal life. For many inside the family, it confirmed every earlier fear and every private doubt her own relatives once expressed. She wanted glamour and adventure, said one former royal correspondent, and she got it, but at a terrible cost. Even after her separation, Sarah's financial struggles, spending habits, and risky business ventures kept her in the headlines. Critics accused her of courting publicity. Supporters said she was merely trying to survive outside a system that had rejected her. Scandals continued into 2010, when a hidden camera sting captured her offering access to Andrew for £500,000, footage that shocked Britain. She appeared emotional and possibly under the influence, but the damage was done, and she apologised for what she called a terrible lapse in judgment. Her connection to Jeffrey Epstein, after accepting financial help from him, further deepened public concern, and to many royal watchers, these incidents mirrored long-standing patterns of impulsive decisions, financial trouble, and destructive headlines. Yet Sarah has always defended herself, insisting she married for love. In 2021, she told Town & Country, "I married my man who happened to be a prince." And despite divorcing in 1996, she and Andrew remain unusually close, still living together at Royal Lodge, co-parenting, and appearing publicly side by side. Supporters argue her mistakes were never malicious, simply human, and that she was a young woman thrust into a gilded cage without preparation. 4 decades later, early family doubts linger. Was she the wrong woman at the wrong time, or simply ahead of her time? The royal household has gradually softened. She now attends some family events and is seen as a grandmother, author, and figure of resilience. But the stigma remains, and the old question resurfaces in every profile. Did Sarah Ferguson marry Prince Andrew for love or ambition? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between, because love and ambition often coexist, especially in a world where marriage itself is political. Many still wonder why she never remarried, questioning whether it comes down to privilege or something more personal. What is certain is that her journey, from duchess to outcast to comeback figure, remains one of the most compelling and deeply human royal sagas of all time. So, did her family have reason to worry? Possibly. Did she make mistakes? Absolutely. But did she also love Andrew in her own way? That answer may depend on whom you ask. Yet Sarah Ferguson remains one of the most unpredictable, flawed, and captivating figures in modern royal history. Perhaps because she has always been, above all else, undeniably human. If this deep dive into the downfall of the House of York surprised you, tap like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Andrew and Sarah face harsher consequences, or has the Royal Lodge story changed your view of them forever? Your engagement helps me bring you more untold royal stories every day.